I mean, that just absolutely at the very depth of our being, that energy, oh, happy day. And it is a happy day. And Joan and I were discussing that Sunday is our favorite day. It's a day we get to be with you, each other, and we get to share a universal message of oneness. This is why I love our way of life, is that we are sharing a universal message of loveness, of lovingness that moves beyond color, race, creed, sexual orientation, and political, I added political affiliation. And knowing that in this oneness, the blood that courses through my veins is the same color of the blood that courses through your veins. And in this oneness, we live and move and have our being. Oh, happy day. This is the day the Lord hath made. Let us rejoice and be glad in it. It is a gift from God. And what we make of this thing called life is our gift back to God. Thank you, Father, Mother, God, for the recognition and the realization that we are in the world to live our life, to live, to love, to express, sometimes to weep. For every tear that falls, a flower grows in consciousness, doesn't it? We're watering the garden of our soul. And to absolutely the joy, which is the most infallible sign of the presence of God, the laughter, the energy of being in the world with quality, with excellence, with a recognition that we're here to live totally and completely. And I was sharing on our Wednesday Night Live that sometimes we don't always have the highest energy. We're part of the human condition. To me, that's a trigger. Let's rest, let's renew, let's regenerate, let's recreate our energy field. So this is our last Sunday on the Aladdin Factor, which I have loved sharing with you, and to acknowledge that we are lighting the magic lamp, and that lamp is within us. And the biblical verse that we become a lamp unto our feet. And what? The energy of God is a light unto our path, right? So that lamp unto our feet representing our understanding. And when the psalmists say, with all you're getting, get understanding, right? We're getting all this stuff and we're filling the coffers and going over here and over there. But with all you're getting, get understanding. For there is a spirit within man and within woman. And the breath of the Almighty hath given them life and understanding. Through this sacred understanding, we feel that compassion for the human condition, that we don't need to look outside ourselves and judge what's going on, but to send compassion, to send love, and to do what we can with the tools we've been given. So what do? We do what we can, where we are, with the tools that we have, and we keep growing and evolving. This is so important, to grow and evolve. And we were just speaking before the service that, technology, our computer's 5 years old. And I was noticing that there is a lesser quality on the computer than on my iPhone that I used to give my Wednesday Night Live presentations on, and how incredible it is that the pace of technology, but yet I bless technology because I'm not just seeing, this reflection of myself. I'm seeing into the camera's eye and into your eye. And the eye in which I see God is the same eye in which God sees me. We quicken that third eye. And if thine eye be single, Jesus said, thy whole being is filled with light. But if thine eye be evil, and what that means is negative, then thy whole being is filled with darkness. We don't get it. We're operating out of ego. We're operating out of effective life and victimhood and martyrdom. But when we step into taking responsibility for our life, we step on the magic carpet and we are ready to take that ride. In fact, on Halloween, someone sent me a card that said, has this beautiful little witch on the front of the card. It says, if the broom fits, ride it. And so whatever is in front of us at that moment, we're stepping on the magic carpet. Maybe we're taking that broom ride, whatever it is, to have the courage to act, isn't it? Because we can contemplate and we can meditate and we can theorize, but action with intention. And Jesus, who became the Christ, said, faith without works is dead. We put the works with the faith, the action with intention. So I love this topic today on the light. I love this energy of light. And what I know is that as we keep unfolding to the light, and that beautiful ancient proverb, when there is light in the soul, there is beauty in the person. When there is beauty in the person, there is harmony in the home. When there is harmony in the home, there is order in the nation. And when there is order in the nation, there is peace in the world. And what does it start out with? Light in the soul. And when we recognize that light in our soul and the beauty in one another and the harmony in the home, there's a harmony and balance. And that's why I love, feng shui and some of these ancient things of placement for the highest frequency and I love what Joan said, that I went in and blessed her home because there was some things going on. And so we blessed every room, and I took the sage, the sacred sage, and we called in the angels, the archangels, and all enlightened beings to cleanse, purify, harmonize, balance, attune, and heighten the energy field. And when I talked to her a few days later, she said when she walks in now, her home sings to her. I love that her home sings to her. And I feel that way in my home, that there is an energy here, and I can feel it, and I can feel the unseen guides and the angelic realm. I feel it. I know that this energy is ever present. And I also know that when the ancients said, it's better to light one candle than curse the darkness, that whatever is going on in our life, let's light it up with love. Let's light it up being on the solution level. We can talk the problem. In fact, I was in our mineral hot springs. I went in for a little bit last night. I used to not go in on Saturday because I was, meditating. I thought, it's a full moon. I'm going to meditate under that full moon tonight and say, thank you, Father, Mother, God, for these healing minerals. That's why I moved here. And then I find myself, well, I've got this to do and that to do. And I got to get back into balance. So there is this person, she's in the minerals, and she's starting, to complain about, the water's too cold now, and it's this and it's that, and now they've cut the hours. Instead of 11, now we have to be out by 10, and she's going on and about, neighbors. And I said, you know what? I'm here to meditate on this beautiful moon, and whatever is going on with you, honey, let it go. Is the water going to get warmer by you complaining about it? I don't think so, but maybe you can rise above it, right? And so I said, let's just focus on this beauty, that we're in the minerals. Here's the mountains. Here, let's look at what works for you. So I got her off of that into, some of the gratitude. And when we get into gratitude and complaining and looking at what doesn't work, they can't operate from the same space, just as love and fear cannot operate from the same space. We're either in love or we're in fear. So when we're in love, that is the light that penetrates the fear and returns it to its native nothingness, right? I love the story about, there was a young girl, and she saw this darling older elderly man. And he had this beautiful bouquet of flowers, and they were on the bus. And she said, oh, I hope someday someone loves me enough to bring me a beautiful bouquet of flowers like you're taking to your loved one. He said, yes, I'm taking them to my wife. She goes, oh, that is so precious. I just love that. And may I smell them? And the fragrance, the fragrance just permeated the entire bus. And she smelled them, and she was just enraptured in the beauty of them. And then they came to the stop, and they were both getting out together. And he turned to her and he said, you know what? I think my wife would rather you have these today. And he gave her the bouquet of flowers. And as she saw him cross the street, she saw the sign. It was a cemetery. And he was going to take the flowers to his wife's grave. And he turned and said, I think she would rather have you have her flowers today. And the beauty of that energy and that moment and that love, and that he spoke truth, didn't he? In that moment, the joy on her face, and also the compassion and the understanding that he was crossing the street to go to his wife's grave and to commune with her in her energy. And that beauty and that light in the soul that moves beyond all the conditions that are showing up in our lives to what truly matters, right? And I find myself wishing for people to really get what truly matters and to experience what truly, truly matters in one's life. And one of the greatest stories is in the Kabbalah. And it's about a mystic from the first century named Abulafia. And Abulafia was studying the names and letters of God because in Kabbalah, they believe that each letter carries light. And so there are several really letters for God. In fact, I was given a beautiful book with the letters that represent God and that they carry a light and an energy. And he was, scribing and he was meditating and he was feeling this energy and his candle went out. So he got up to go and get a light for his candle. And what he noticed is that wherever he moved, the light followed him. He did not light the candle, but there was a light in the room that followed him wherever he happened to go in that room. And that as he sat, the light continued to brighten. And it got so powerful that he was illuminated in the light. And I have his meditations in a book that I've had for years. And it's The Mysticism of Abulafia, ancient Kabbalist. And in that ancient Kabbalah, to recognize the energy of light, the energy that allows us to illuminate our own thoughts and to get understanding. For with all our getting, get understanding. For there is that spirit within each and every one of us, guiding and directing us. And when Saul of Tarsus, who got on his horse, and he was not an advocate of Christianity whatsoever, and they were, meeting in the catacombs, and the Christians were meeting secretly, and he would report them. Very similar, isn't it? Interestingly enough, to what some of the things that happened in the concentration camps. And so on this ride, he got on his horse. And as he's riding, galloping, he has this vision of light. And the light was so powerful that it knocked him off his horse. And when he got up, when he stood up, he was no longer Saul of Tarsus, was he? He was the Apostle Paul who became the greatest advocate of Christ consciousness, of the message. I am the light of the world. I am the light of the world. And when we understand that we are the light of the world, we get up. We're knocked down by the vicissitudes of life. We get up, we brush ourselves off, and we are in this world on the solution level to be in the world, but not of it. And in his advocacy, he wrote amazing works and began to embody Christ consciousness. You see, people that worship Jesus of Nazareth, I feel they're missing something, because when Jesus said, I of myself can do nothing, it's the Father within that does the work. The works that I do, even greater works you shall do than I do. He was not setting himself up as this great guru. Oh, come worship me. No, he was the example. The works that I do, ye shall do also, and even greater works ye shall do than I do. So that when we are so illuminated that the light can go out, the physical light can go out, the candle can be extinguished. But remember that even in death, it's not extinguishing the light, it's turning off the lamp, because dawn has come. Dawn has come for each and every one of us to recognize that we are the light of the world. that in this light, we so live our lives in such a way that everyone and anyone who comes within our energy field is healed and uplifted in our presence. Yes, when there is light in the soul, there is beauty in the person. When there is beauty in the person, there is harmony in the home. When there is harmony in the home, there is order in the nation. When there is order in the nation, there is peace in the world. Let's shift the scales in favor of world peace. Let's be the change we want to see in the world so that truly, when people are in our presence, they feel that energy and are uplifted in our presence. Today, we let our light so shine before the world that they see who we are and they glorify the energy, that higher energy that is emanating from us. Yes, I offer you this bouquet of flowers because I think my loved one would rather you have them. Because energetically, the veil is very thin. In fact, it was so interesting. I have a program from my husband's 20th anniversary of moving off the planet, and I donated a fountain to a certain ministry, and we had a beautiful gathering on his 20th anniversary of passing. And his aunts were there who have now passed on and would share their experiences of Neil Stroud and what an amazing, loving young boy he was. And he was an amazing person. And when people say, who are your mentors? He was definitely one of my mentors. He came in with unconditional love. He came in with seeing every person and their potential. And he taught fifth grade. And he had the class. He asked them, what are your dreams? What do you want to do? And they all, this was English as a second language. And so it was a disadvantaged area school. They all wanted to go to Magic Mountain. His school was in Pacoima, which is in the San Fernando Valley, which is a lower income area. So he had them collect tin cans to recycle, to pay their own way to go to Magic Mountain. So they would feel the self-esteem that they had worked towards something, and this was the fruition of it. And he was an advocate of Jack Canfield's how to teach self-esteem, 101 ways to teach self-esteem in the classroom. So he was advocating this. And when he made his transition in 1977, 7/11/77, there were 500 students that had formerly been in his fifth grade class that said that Mr. Stroud transformed my life, that I wouldn't be, in college today if it weren't for him. I wouldn't be studying law if it weren't for him. I wouldn't want to be a doctor if it weren't for him. All of these amazing accolades that he received, and the difference to pass when you're 34 years young and to have made that level of a difference in young people's lives. And what I know is that is the energy. Remember that life is a self-evolving circle, imperceptibly small at first, reaching outward into ever widening, rippling out into ever widening circles toward infinity, that we are making an amazing difference. And he used to say to me, you are a natural in the ministry. I really admire you. And I feel that you've embodied this. And now, I learned from you. And we had this symbiotic relationship and the best of friends, not only husband and wife. So I feel that when I saw his program this morning on a table from his 20th anniversary of passing, that he too is here in the energy field. I don't know how it got in here, but it was in here. It was an interesting experience to see that picture of that 34-year-old man and the recognition and the difference that he made in my life that has moved into my daughter's life, who she teaches second grade, and said, I'm changing the world, Mother, one second grader at a time. And of course, we don't value our educators in our country as they do in Europe. So my husband had his broker's license to support his teaching hobby, as he called it. So in the summer, that's what he would do when they would have the summers off. And we were very resourceful and love this way of life, because this way of life is transforming, and that it gives us the opportunity to be all that we can be every single day of our lives. Yes, we have lower energy days. Yes, we have sadnesses. We have disappointments. We feel discouraged at times. And then we surrender to the process. And as we let go and let God do what God does best, what happens? The light fills the void. The love fills the void. The gratitude fills the void. And we are now at ourselves making a difference. And that difference is showing up in every single interaction. So today I greet you, not quite as the world greets you, but with profound esteem in the recognition of our oneness, because we're all on a path, aren't we? And where is it? Higher yet. Where is it? Higher yet. Where is it? Higher yet. Because we are in a high place and we will not come down. We are in a high place. Thank you, Father, Mother, God, for this way of life and the recognition that we are going higher yet in consciousness through the evolution of our own unfoldment and the recognition of who and what we are. So I say to you, Namaste. The God in me celebrates the God in you, and the God in you celebrates the God in me. And if I am in that place in me and you are in that place in you, there is only one of us. Namaste. Shalom, the peace that passes all understanding. And God bless us, everyone. And so it is. Thank you so much. And as I introduce our Prince Fleet, yes, you may acknowledge me. I'm very much into acknowledgement and the recognition that everything that we do, and I'm the greatest acknowledger, because I feel that everything we do, if I acknowledge you, what does it do? It expands my heart. It expands my energy field and allows me to be all that I can be. So as I introduce our Reverend, the Reverend Prince Fleet Easton, I want to just leave this thought with you. It was a card that I received, and it said, "It is the light that urges the flower to open its heart to the world." It is the light that urges the flower to open its heart to the world. And today we open our hearts to you with great esteem as we bring on the Reverend Prince Fleet.